It's really good to be joined by all of you. Thank you to each one of you. If I can request you, the people who are seated behind, to kindly move in front. There are some seats which are still vacant. Would like to request people who are seated behind, if you can just move in and kindly be seated in the front desk. And in a short while from now, we are going to be starting with the award ceremony. It's a pleasure to be joined by our guest of honor, being joined by Srimati Chandresh Kumari. Thank you, ma'am, for joining us. We are going to be starting shortly with the award ceremony, so would like to request you all to kindly be seated. Please also keep your mobile phones on the silent mode. And yes, you might be, you can be seated here and even on those desks which is on the side. On behalf of Primetime Research Media Private Limited, it is indeed a pleasure to extend a warm welcome to each one of you, to our very esteemed guests and distinguished dignitaries, the special invitees, academicians, teachers, mentors, guiders, the advisors, consultants, and in fact all the stakeholders of the education industry. Thank you to all of you for joining us in these prestigious awards, the Global Education Excellence Awards for the year 2013. Now, ladies and gentlemen, these awards are to reward, recognize and appreciate the academic achievements and the professional contributions of individuals and organizations to the education sector. And alongside, they also focus on the issues and challenges which are confronting the industry and also the opportunities which are there. So I'll just take a little moment of yours to just talk about the issues and challenges and the opportunities as we see in this sector. As you're all aware, the education sector can be divided into two segments. We have the core business and the non-core. The core comprises of the schools and the universities, and the non-core have the vocational colleges, the preschool and the coaching classes. Now, if we see, there has been a considerable growth in the education sector in the past decade or so. If we look into the financial year 5 to financial year 7 to 12 or 5 to 7 in these past 5 to 7 years, the education sector has seen a growth rate of 16.8%. By financial year 15, this has been considered to be a market of 640,410 crore. 100% FDI is allowed in this sector. The Government of India has the ambitious project of Sarv Shiksha Abhiyan, providing education to all, reaching out to the masses. So there's huge opportunity which you see presently in this sector. But in spite of lot many reforms and policy changes which have also been taking place in these last decade or so, we see that India still stands almost 30% illiterate. We still don't have world-class institutions like Oxford or Harvard, where people can look up to this kind of institutions. We are definitely coming up with great educational institutions, but when it comes to learning, this is where we are lacking. And this is where we need to gear up and plug in. If we talk about the higher education, we are the third largest market we have of the higher education. We are third in terms of first United States, followed by China and then India. But again, here, yes, in the last decade or so, 20,000 institutions, 8 million students who have enrolled themselves. The gross enrollment ratio is 18.6. Now all this looks very promising, very encouraging as far as the figures are concerned. But if we again compare it to the global average, GDR is 27%. China is 26%. And we have Brazil, which is 32%. So again, we are somewhere pretty low, 18.6, comparing it to global 27, we are very low. We are in fact very low as compared to the countries like Malaysia and Philippines also. So again, it is here when we talk about higher education, which is actually a stepping stone for the students to reach out into the corporate world or into the world which is where they're going to be working. We have to get up in the higher education sector. Skill development, if we talk about, again, India stands skill deficit. The kind of students which are being churned out from the institutions and the schools, they do not fit the industry requirement. There's a huge demand-supply gap which you see in what kind of students which are coming up from the institutes and what is the requirement of the industry. And this is where we feel that there has to be a lot of interface between the academia, between the industry, with the policymakers, the government, so that we are in sync with what is the requirement. For the jobs of today, as we see, are going to be very different from what you have jobs of tomorrow. The jobs which we had in the past, everyone used to become a teacher, become a doctor, engineer. These were the professions which people used to actually look up to. But today you have different kinds of jobs. And that is what you're going to be seeing in the future also. So we need to prepare for the jobs of future. And therefore the need today is more of innovators, of creators, of researchers, of analytics, of strategic planners, of entrepreneurs. Because once we educate everyone and we don't have the jobs for them, again we have failed in what we are looking up to. So we need more and more entrepreneurship coming up, entrepreneurs to be raised, so that they can raise jobs, they can come up with jobs, and they can provide jobs to the people who are being educated. So these awards are there to recognize, reward innovativeness, creativity, leadership, out-of-box thinking, good business models, good growth models in the education sector. And with this aim and objective, ladies and gentlemen, these awards have been instituted. This is the second time that these awards are being presented. And I'll just share a little word about the organizers, the Primetime Research Media Private Limited. This is a leading global insight-driven media services company which is offering comprehensive research, branding, and also due diligence. They are working across various segments, as well as with the government, with the corporates, working in the small as well as the medium segments, and extending the research and branding and due diligence. These awards, as I said, they are more towards recognizing the contributions which are being made by individuals and organizations. So as we present these awards, they are in two sections, presenting it to the organizations and institutions and then to the individuals. And then, ladies and gentlemen, as it is said that the value of any award increases manyfold by whom it is being presented. So we are extremely thankful to our two guests of honor who have joined us and who are going to be presenting the awards. As we talk about education, we feel that education and educational institutions have been always in the forefront in promoting culture, in promoting traditions, in promoting the morality and the legacy. And this is where we thank we would like to express thanks to Srimati Chandresh Kumari for joining us, the Honorable Minister of Culture. And we all know that when we talk about culture, today we have various courses which are specialized, and we have, in fact, in our schools we always taught of social sciences, where you talk about your culture and traditions. We have dramatics, which is, again, we talk about technology and new innovations, but at times you actually fail in these technologies. So, and that is where we always say that, the human intelligence or the human power is always supreme than the technology also. And it's a human, so we need to raise a manpower which has that intellect to come up with new technologies also. So as I was saying, our special thanks to Srimati Chandresh Kumari for joining us. And we would like to further extend a hearty welcome on behalf of all of you by presenting the colors and fragrance of spring by according her a floral welcome. Please join me, ladies and gentlemen, in according her a floral welcome. Thank you, ma'am. And I would also like to mention that we were also supposed to be joined by Mr. Tarun Vijay, the Member of Parliament Rajya Sabha, who is also the national spokesperson of BJP. Unfortunately, he's not been able to join us because of a pressing engagement. There's a last-minute BJP meeting and he had to go and attend that, but he has extended his good wishes to all of us. But we are extremely delighted, and it's a pleasure to be joined by Professor Thurat, who has joined us. Thank you so very much, sir, for joining us, and we further accord and extend our good wishes. Ladies and gentlemen, Professor Thurat, highly educated, he's an academic research scholar who has done research on topics like agricultural development, rural poverty, institution and economic growth, human rights issues, thoughts of Ambedkar, slums, education, etc. as his areas of research. And for his outstanding contribution, he has been also conferred with Padma Shri in the year 2008, in addition to many awards and accolades which are in his basket. He established Vani Parishad. This is an organization for the youth, and spread Vivekananda Youth Mahamandal under the guidance of Ramakrishna Mission. During his college days, he helped establish a school for poor Garhwali children near Rajpur. So thank you, sir, for joining us. We look forward to the views of both of you, and once again thanking you for your presence. And now for the auspicious beginning of these awards, I would like to request Ma'am Srimati Chandresh Kumari to kindly light the ceremonial lamp. Would also like to invite Professor Thurat to kindly join in this auspicious act. This, in fact, is a lamp of knowledge and wisdom, and all the people who are present here, you are spreading the knowledge and wisdom. In fact, as we light the lamp, we invoke the blessings of the Almighty, and as the wicks are lit, it is the candle is passed from one person to another that represents the sharing of knowledge. And that's a very humble profession which you are all in. Spreading knowledge, imbibing knowledge, and further enriching the world by spreading this knowledge and taking it to the masses. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you to Professor Thurat. And further, for the auspiciousness of these awards and also of our vision and mission. As I said, all of you are in a very noble profession. We now have the invocation, the Ganesh Vandana, the Lord of Prosperity and the Lord of Success. We present it in a unique style, in a dance style, and further invoke the blessings of Lord Ganesha. So presenting to you Ganesh Vandana.